YouTube, we back. Today we're gonna be watching the chicken conspiracy robbing Americans of the Toyota Hilux. I'm not saying that right. I'm not sure. So, but bad electrician, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get right to the video.
Just once in my life, I would like to go to the internet with a question and have my question answered without falling into an enormous rabbit hole of government conspiracies and nonsense. Okay, long story short,
The nonsense part. The nonsense part I agree with.
Just a flatbed, plain Jane work truck, nothing fancy about it, and it was
At
supposed to be like $10,000 or $11,000 brand new. So naturally, I wanted one. So naturally, I go to the internet with a simple question: am I going to be able to buy this new Toyota truck in America? To which I am met with the answer: probably not. Most likely for the same reason you can't buy a Toyota Hilux, which is the other thing that's been pissing me off for 10 years inside of America. And naturally, in the back of my head,
why does he want this ugly ass truck?
Which is the other thing that's been pissing me off for 10 years inside of America. And
that looked like an electrician truck, though.
Naturally, in the back of my head, I just kind of assumed, like, oh, Toyota just doesn't want to sell that truck in America for some reason. Maybe the money's not right, it costs too much to import, whatever. And yeah, it does cost too much to import, but it's because of chickens and Lyndon B. Johnson. That's why.
What's that? Nick's so mad he forgot to send me a segue for the ad. Oh, that means we gotta do it, right? Yeah. I don't know what that was.
Me neither.
Play the ad. Me?
This video is sponsored by Aura, where you can get everything you need to be safe and productive online in one convenient location. When you sign up for Aura, you're going to get a password manager that's going to help you have a strong and unique password for every online account that you have. In addition to that, you're also going to get antivirus software as well as a VPN. But Aura doesn't just keep your computer safe, they also keep your identity and your money safe as well. Aura will go to all the big data brokers on the internet, find out which ones are selling your personal information, and then submit opt-out requests to have that information taken down. They also offer credit monitoring and home title monitoring, and in the unfortunate situation that somehow that isn't enough and your identity still gets stolen,
I ain't gonna lie. This little background music is a vibe.
they offer up to $1 million in insurance and a team that is available 24/7 to help you resolve the issue. So go ahead and use my link down below. You're going to get a 14-day free trial with Aura. Let's get back to the video. And I can hear the comment section already. Buh, if you want a Hilux, just get a Tacoma. They're basically the same thing. Buh. No, they are not, for multiple reasons. For one, I've driven a Tacoma, and it is literally the slowest moving vehicle I have ever driven in my entire life. That thing accelerates from 0 to 60 in like 3 to 5 business days, okay? Fucking Freddie Flintstone would beat that thing in a drag race. Secondly, I don't vividly remember being 14 years old watching Top Gear with my dad and seeing those guys drop a fucking Tacoma into the ocean for 8 hours, fishing it out, and then getting it started in like 15 minutes. And then, because that wasn't enough to kill it, they decided they were going to hit it with a wrecking ball, drive it through a building, light it on fire, and then stick it on top of a skyscraper before blowing the entire building up with it. And then the motherfucker still started, okay?
Yo!
Tacomas are not on the same level as Hiluxes. I don't care what you say, you will never convince me otherwise. It is the equivalent of my mom trying to convince me that store brand toaster pastries are Pop-Tarts. No, they're not. Pop-Tarts are Pop-Tarts, and Pop-Tarts are fucking awesome. And you want to know why I can't
That's
get
a
my
fact.
metaphorical Pop-Tart, why I can't own and drive my own Toyota Hilux? It's because America was too good at selling chickens in the 1950s and 60s. Yeah, that's why. Okay, so here's the deal. Generally speaking, throughout the majority of human history, chickens have always been like super expensive and seen as only something that rich people got to eat until very recently, which, think about it for a second, it starts to make a little bit more sense. You have like cows and goats and llamas and whatever other fucking farm animals you have, and they just basically wander around and they eat the grass, okay? That's not very expensive. Then you have pigs. You can literally just feed them garbage and they'll turn it into bacon somehow through evolutionary magic. Chickens, on the other hand, you have to like feed them grain and like actually give them real food that a human could technically eat. So, historically speaking, they've always been one of the more expensive farm animals, so only rich people got to eat them. Then in the 1950s, after World War II, thanks to refrigeration and a couple of other innovations, America got super, super good at raising chickens. They got so good, in fact, that we could raise chickens, slaughter them in America, ship them across the fucking ocean while refrigerating them, and sell them in Europe, and it was still cheaper than people could grow and raise chickens in Europe, so Europe was eating a bunch of American chicken.
So they have too much cock?
I guess that's one way to put it.
Yo!
I never thought I'd hear that come out of my mouth.
Why she had to do him like that? I'm crying. Her little inputs they do come in perfect time, but I ain't gonna lie. Boom, roasted.
Anyways, this goes on for a number of years. In European countries, primarily Germany was spearheading this entire thing. They get together and they're like, hey, let's put a 25% tariff on American chicken coming into the European market. That way, European chicken is more competitive. And if that wasn't enough, they started a major propaganda campaign basically saying that America fills their chickens full of antibiotics and growth hormones, so it's really unhealthy for people to eat, which, I mean, honestly, that's probably a fair assessment. But regardless, America's now pissed off. So this is 1962 when this European tariff on American chicken passes, and for the next 18 months, it is the pinnacle of American politics, trying to get Europe to buy more American chickens, and it becomes known as the Chicken War, right in the middle of the Cold War. I'm not even exaggerating. There were literally American politicians that cared more about getting Europeans to eat more chicken than they did about the pending nuclear war with the Soviet Union. The Chancellor of Germany, Konrad Adenauer, said that he had more conversations with JFK about Germans eating American chicken than he did about the pending nuclear war. There was a
Why can't we just all be like, hey, we all like the same stuff. My chicken is your chicken. Your chicken is my chicken. We all love chicken. Put a little hot sauce and some seasoning on that thing. Mamma mia.
senator from Arkansas that was sitting in a NATO meeting when he stood up, interrupted the entire NATO meeting, and declared that America was going to withdraw from NATO and Europe could defend itself if they didn't lift the sanctions on American chicken. Obviously, that didn't actually happen. Despite that, the tariff ended up...
I'm just realizing also, like, our chicken had to be on point if they this mad about not getting it. They like, bruh, what y'all doing? Why can't we have no chicken?
staying up sanctions on American chicken. Obviously, that didn't actually happen. Despite that, the tariff ended up staying up, and after 18 months of trying to diplomatically solve this issue, then President Lyndon B. Johnson is like, fuck it, I'm just going to put a tariff on you guys too, and he put a 25% tariff on potato starch, dextrin, brandy, and light cargo vehicles. Now, obviously, chicken is a food product, which they are tariffing, so America is going to tariff dextrin, potato starch, and brandy, which are also food products. That part makes sense, but why on earth is America going to start taxing light cargo vehicles? Well, you see, that's where the good old-fashioned political corruption comes in, because it's 1964, it's an election year, and the UAE is about to go on strike, the United Automotive Workers Union, and them going on strike during an election year is going to be disastrous for Lyndon B. Johnson's chances of getting reelected. So LBJ and the president of the UAE come to a little quid pro quo agreement. In exchange for the UAE not going on strike during LBJ's election, LBJ is going to abuse his political power to make sure that somehow, some way, so many Volkswagen Type 2s, which are incredibly popular in America right now, quit getting imported, aka the Love Bus. You know, you've seen those. This is where they went. They went away because of this. So this is why light cargo vehicles get...
How many kids do you think were made inside of these vans? That's literally the mystery van. They was hidden. It was basically a bed on the go. Like, you can literally be like, hey, yo, shorty, trying to come back to my van. We can make some real magic happen. Smooth. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's crazy.
Seen those. This is where they went. They went away because of this. So this is why light cargo vehicles gets added to the chicken tax, adding a 25% tariff to basically make it so that Germany can't import the Type 2. Now, light cargo vehicle at this point in time is defined as 2 seats or less and designed to transport cargo. So then, because of that, all the foreign auto car makers like Toyota and Honda and all the other ones that make small trucks, not wanting to pay a 25% tax to import their trucks, start importing the truck itself, like the chassis and the cab and the motor, all completely built in their country, and then they ship over the bed separately, and then they have a warehouse where they like throw a couple of bolts on and attach the bed, so that way it's assembled in America and they're only going to get taxed 4% instead of 25% because the U.S. government is this fucking stupid. So then in the 1980s, the U.S. government closed that loophole, to which all the other auto car makers are like, fine, we'll just exploit another loophole. We'll just start adding more seats, so that way there's more than 2 seats, so it's not a cargo vehicle, it's just a normal vehicle. And this is why every small to mid-sized truck, 1980s through like the early 2000s, had those tiny little seats in the back. That
I hated those little seats.
Sit on. It's because they were never actually designed for people to sit on. They were just there so that they could legally say, oh, it's designed to sit more than 2 people, therefore I get taxed at 4% instead of 25%, again, because the government is dumb. Which, fun fact, this is also why the Subaru Brat had those stupid plastic seats in the back. And then they came out with the CAFE standards, which is basically like trying to, save the environment with emissions and stuff. And the rule was the vehicle has to be like proportional compared to how much emission that it emits, I guess. So like if a truck is really big, it can emit a bunch of CO2 into the atmosphere. But if a truck is really small, it's not allowed to emit a bunch of CO2 into the atmosphere. And this is actually why all the trucks in America are fucking ginormous lately in like the last 20 years. Okay, I know that's like a super popular thing to bitch about. Like you hear a bunch of hippies and college kids bitching about how American trucks are too big and it's more dangerous and they're taking up space on the road and they're beating up the infrastructure. Yeah, it's because of stupid fucking emissions policies, because it's easier for automakers to just make the truck physically fucking larger than it is to make the emissions somehow magically lower. So that's why that's happening. So not only is the CAFE standards not helping with emissions and CO2, it's actually incentivizing automakers to make trucks unnecessarily ridiculously large just so they can comply with this law. And I know what you're thinking, well, at least the chicken tax is helping American automakers compete in the market so that they can make more money and stay in business. And that's just not the case anymore either, because even they're getting fucked over by this law. Because when Ford tries to import transit vehicles, which they have made over in Turkey, they have to intentionally put extra seats and windows and shit inside of it, import it, and then send them to a factory and have all the seats and windows taken out and convert it back into a fucking cargo vehicle. This is why all the transit vans and shit that are super popular are really fucking expensive, and this is why my work that I work at to be an electrician can't ever find a goddamn transit van to use as a work truck, because A, they're getting way more expensive because we're having to...
I was right. I was like, this is why he wants that truck, because he's an electrician. Hey, quick side story too. The Toyota Tacoma, I had never, like, I was working at a AutoZone, and it was a lot of cars that came in that were manual, and I was just like, or if you don't know, stick shift. And so I was like, dang, I don't know how to drive stick shifts, because I was a little I guess porter. So I would take the car that was inside of the service lane, and I would take them outside after they got checked in into the parking lot so that the mechanics would be able to work on them. And so I was like, dang, I'm tired of not being able to move certain cars. Let me learn how to drive stick shift. So we had a little mechanic truck that the mechanics or anybody at the AutoZone, I mean not AutoZone, the Toyota dealership would drive around just the parking lot if they needed to go get something or whatever. And so I would hop in it probably like a couple times a day, and I had a older guy that taught me how to drive stick shift. And when I tell you, when I got so good at driving that truck, I miss it so much. Like, that was like my little buddy. But I was whipping that thing like, ooh, I was like, what? Like, it feels so much better to drive a stick shift than an automatic car, because you feel like you're actually doing something instead of just pressing the gas and the brake and turning the wheel. Like, you actually feel a part of the car. So drop down in the comments, what do y'all prefer, automatic or manual? I want to know.
Import them with extra seats so they're not cargo vehicles, because somehow that saves money. And then my boss is desperately trying to compete with all the fucking millennials that want to go live in a van and start an Instagram so they can have hashtag van life in every fucking picture they post. This policy is literally helping no one. Nobody on the planet is benefiting right now except for maybe the government, so that they can get more tax money over fucking nothing, okay? Potatoes, dextrin, all that other shit, all that shit's gone. They're not tariffing that anymore. That tax went away. It's just on cargo vehicles now, and it's for no reason. And you're like, oh, this fucking fat electrician guy is just misrepresenting the entire situation because he's angry that he can't own a Toyota truck that he wants. No, that's not it. In 2003, the Cato Institute researched the entire thing. This is 21 years ago, by the way. They did all the research, and they came to the conclusion, and I quote, the chicken tax is a policy that is in search of a rationale. There's no fucking reason for this law to exist other than to fuck people over. I have literally spent the last 3 days of my life successfully wrapping my entire brain around this issue and come to the conclusion it's so fucking stupid that it's driving me insane. This is literally the epitome of government intervention. What's the problem? Oh, Germany's not eating enough American chicken. Don't worry, the government's going to step in and help. Fast forward 70 years. Guess what? Germany's still not eating enough American chicken, but you're not allowed to own a Toyota Hilux either. Oh, good. I'm literally getting cock-blocked from owning my dream car. Thank you. I'll be honest, I don't even understand how I got here. Like, I woke up one morning, there was like, oh, hey, Toyota's coming out with a new truck that's going to be super cheap and cool. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if I'm going to be allowed to buy it. And next thing I know, I'm fucking the internet's crazy uncle on Thanksgiving somehow. I need a beer. Okay, this is too much. I gotta go. Thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch over to fatelectrician.com. Quack bang out.
Appreciate y'all for watching, man. This your boy No Code. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We almost at 2K subs, man. I appreciate y'all so much for watching my videos, liking and commenting. Y'all know I try to get back to the comments in a reasonable amount of time, and I try to get to every single one of them and give a personalized message if y'all are, you know, saying something. But appreciate y'all, man. Like I said again, go hit that subscribe button, like, drop some comments down below. I'm gonna see y'all later on the next video. Peace.